right, well, it's great to see you, Sarah. We're going to start with our first therapy session. And the therapy that I've chosen for you and with your specific voice problem is called straw phonation. So that's why you see we have cups of water there with some different colored straws. And we'll get to that in a second. But first I want to explain what straw phonation is and why I've chosen it, what it's designed to do for your voice. So you can see here in this picture, we have a person using a straw and they're blowing through the straw. And the blowing through the straw really helps connect us to our airflow. We've talked about like the anatomy and physiology of voice production, and you know that airflow is really critical for a strong, clear, steady voice. So using airflow through a straw and then seeing the bubbles in the water can be really helpful biofeedback for you to see that you're using enough airflow, that you're allowing airflow to come through, and that you're not squeezing and forcing. Then when we add in the voice aspect and we have you make sounds through the straw and into the water, what that does is that creates a little bit of back pressure. So you can see here in this picture, it's got arrows going from the straw and the tip of the mouth back down towards the vocal folds. Now we know that the air and the sound is coming up this way, but with narrowing the vocal tract and narrowing our lips, we actually get a little bit of the direction coming from the opposite way, and we call that back pressure. And you can see here in this image, it actually helps to assist in the closure of the vocal folds. So you get some back pressure from above the vocal folds, and then of course the subglottic pressure, the pressure below the vocal folds. And that aids in the closure so that you get good closure without having to force or strain. And you can think of it as like when you were a kid and you were swinging on the swing set. If a parent or someone gave you a push at just the right moment, it could really send you like at a big arc with no effort. You didn't have to pump your legs any harder. So these exercises are meant to help really give you that maximum boost of your sound without increasing the effort here at your throat. Sound good so far? Awesome. So here are the exercises that we're going to do in this step. So you can see there. And I'm going to take you through them one by one. I've got a cup of water with a straw. I'll be doing it with you and modeling it. It might feel kind of silly. You probably were told when you were a kid not to blow bubbles into a drink and certainly not to make sounds. But that's all out the window now because we're doing it as a voice exercise. And so you won't get in trouble for that. So to start, I'm going to, and I do have paper towels because it does splash a little bit, so don't get concerned by that. That's normal. So I've got a paper towel and I've got the cup with the straw, and you can see I only filled it up with about this much water because we're trying to give a little bit of resistance and we're trying to be able to visualize the bubbles. But if it's too full, it's going to give too much resistance and then it's going to splash over, and that really isn't what we're trying to achieve here. So what I want you to do to start is exercise 1 is just to blow bubbles. So I'm going to have you just blow bubbles into the straw. So take a nice deep breath and blow bubbles and just kind of watch them. And we'll do it for about 5 seconds. Okay, go ahead. Okay, what do you notice about that?
I thought they were like relatively consistent, like it wasn't giant bubbles and then smaller bubbles. They were relatively the same size.
Good. Can you make the bubbles a little bit bigger? Like put more airflow behind it and see if you can make those bubbles bigger? Okay. Great job. So do you notice that they were still consistent, but you had bigger bubbles and a little bit of splashing? That's the kind of airflow that I want you to apply to these exercises. So just using more breath support to really support that sound so that we can get that back pressure and improve the closure of the vocal folds without extra effort. So now that we've established just airflow, I'm going to have you make a sound in through the straw. And so I'll show you what that's like first. It's going to just be my comfortable pitch. Your comfortable pitch might be slightly different, but I want you to watch and listen. Okay, tell me a little bit about what you saw, what you heard.
I heard the phonation in your voice, and there was like a little bit of splashing, so they're like decent sized bubbles, which meant you had good airflow happening.
You nailed it. Great job. And so, you know, the sound that came through kind of sounded kind of buzzy and bubbly, right? Because the sound's going through the medium of the water. So it will sound a little bit different than your normal voice, but what I want you to focus on when you do it are the bubbles. I want you to feel the vibration at your lips, which you should be able to feel because of that, like back pressure, and because you've got your lips around the straw, and just hold out a comfortable pitch. Okay? Let's see you do that. Nice job. Did you feel that buzzing or vibration at your lips? Good. And did you see the bubbles?
Yeah.
Great. That's great biofeedback and like a visual tool to know that you're using enough airflow. Let me show you what it looks like if I was really holding it very tight and not using a lot of airflow. So what do you notice about the bubbles and what do you notice about the sound?
The sound is more like strangled, like you can kind of hear it happening in there, and like less vibration happening at the straw, and the bubbles were much smaller. Much smaller
and kind of like sporadic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can hear it and you can see it. Now if I did it with too much air, if I made it like really breathy, it might look like this. And so tell me what you noticed about that.
The bubbles were much bigger, there's a lot more air going, and I like heard more air in your voice.
Yeah. So it was kind of imbalanced in the opposite direction, right? Too much air, we get all this splashing. Too much airflow sound. Too little air, we don't get enough of the bubbles, and we get that tight sound. So we're going for that really happy medium. So with that, let's go on to the next step. So you're going to go back to whatever your comfortable pitch is, and that's usually like where you talk. So if you say your name and then like hold out a sound. So for me, it would be Lydia. That's like my comfortable pitch without even thinking about that. Can you do that with your first name?
Sarah.
Okay. And so you'll do a pitch similar to that, if not that exact pitch. And you're going to hold your voice out steady and clear for about 5 seconds. So I'll just kind of count you down.
Just the voice?
Just the voice, yeah. With with
the water.
straw.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, ready? And put the straw all the way down there.
That was wrong.
That's okay. It's hard to connect the air and the sound. Great job. And so you noticed that it was hard to kind of like connect the air and the sound. That's okay. That's what we're working on. Now I'm going to have you do it, and I'd like to see how long you can go. So we did it for about 5 seconds, just focusing on steadiness and clarity. Now we're going to go for distance. So you'll take in a nice deep breath, and you'll really try to keep that airflow going. Don't squeeze the sound out, but try to keep the sound going for as long as you can. And I'm going to use my timer, and I'm going to see how long you can go. Let's see if I can find my stopwatch. There we go. Okay, whenever you're ready. Wow, that was really impressive. 21 seconds. Did that surprise you? That was really good. Good. We're going to do that again. I'll cut you off at just about 10 seconds just to, now that we know that you can go 21 seconds, that's great for your home practice. That shows that you're using your airflow efficiently. You're not over, using air. It's not too much air. It's not too little air. But what I noticed was a little bit of like pitch blips. Did you notice that too? Yeah. So what I want you to try, and like I said, we'll just do this for 10 seconds just for the purpose of smoothing it out. We want to try to eliminate those little blips by using just a bit more air. So I could see the bubbles, they looked really good, but I'm wondering if more breath support, bringing it more forward into the straw might smooth that out. Okay, so go ahead and give that a try. Keep that airflow forward, keep it going. Okay, nice job. How did that feel? Did it feel any different?
It felt a little better. I feel like there were still a couple blips happening, but
okay.
It felt a little better than the first time.
A little better than the first time. Great. This time what I want you to do is maybe, let's try holding the cup up and you can bring it to your mouth. That might help since we're kind of bent over it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead. Nice deep breath. Good, keep the sound going forward. Nice job. How did that feel?
Better.
Awesome. Good. You did great. So now we're going to go on to the next step. You can see step 3 here is we're going to change pitch this time. So we're going to try to stretch our vocal cords and go to a higher pitch. But we still want it to be comfortable. We don't want it to be squeaky. We don't want it to be like outside our range. So see if you can just, before we even do it in the water, just hum a pitch that's a little bit higher than what you just did. Good. Does that feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Awesome. So now we'll start out with just 5 seconds. You're focusing on clarity, trying to make sure that there's no blips. And then the next one, we'll go for distance. Okay? So at that higher pitch. Great. So I heard that connection between getting the voice into the water was just a bit, challenging at first, but you figured it out. So you managed it. That was great. Okay. Are you ready to go for distance and see how long you can go? So I know you can do 21 seconds. If you don't get that far, that's okay. But you're really trying to maximize airflow, keep the sound forward, and keep it as steady as possible for as long as possible so that you're getting that efficiency without squeezing too hard. Okay? You ready?
Yes.
Nice deep breath. Wow, 21 seconds again. And I didn't hear any pitch blips, did you?
No, I didn't hear any in that one.
Yeah. What did you think made that different?
I felt like I was using more breath support in that one. I don't know if it was because I was focused on getting the high pitch clear or something, but I had more breath support and I felt it more in my diaphragm.
Excellent. You're making those connections. You're doing great. Now we're going to move on and go to a low pitch. So you just did high, you've done middle. See if you can just hum a pitch that feels lower than that middle pitch. And if you struggle to find it, I'll help you. But let's just see what you can do. Good. Does that feel low but not too low?
Yeah.
Good. Feels comfortable, like you're not squeezing.
Yeah.
Okay, then let's go with that. I'll count you down from 5 seconds. Just focus on clarity, nice rolling boil of those bubbles. Okay? Good. Still feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Feel like you're using that airflow and bringing the sound forward?
Yeah. Feeling
vibration at your lips? You're doing awesome. Let's go for distance. Good. Keep that steady airflow. Do you want to take a guess what you did?
28 seconds.
27. Really good. Nice job. So that's your best one yet. So that really shows how much you can do with your voice. So before you had told me about how your voice feels so fatigued and how you don't feel like you're getting much out of your voice by the middle of the day. And so hopefully you can see now that with really balancing the subsystems of your voice, you can get a lot out of it. It just, takes a little bit of practice. How did you feel about that low pitch? Tell me about the bubbles. Tell me about the sound.
I felt the most vibration in that one, specifically in my lips out of the rest of them. And I didn't hear any pitch breaks or anything. So.
No, me neither. You did great. And you got the longest, time out of that. So I think you probably were really getting that vibration forward. We know that maximizes, the length as well. So really nice job. Okay, we're moving right along. And this one is going to be a glide. So you're going to glide from a low pitch in the straw all the way across your range to a high pitch. And then the next one we'll go back down. But let's just focus on low to high. And I'll show you that first because it might feel a little odd or strange, and I want you to make sure you feel comfortable. So here's my low to high. So I tried to really concentrate on, even though I was changing pitch and going higher and higher, I was still trying to keep that airflow forward, keep those bubbles going, keep that vibration at my lips, and not crack or break across the glide. That may not happen on your first time or your second time, that's okay, but just know that you're going for that smoothness and that continuous sound and continuous bubbles so that the cracks and breaks don't happen. All right, go ahead and give that a try. Great start. You can go really high. Let's do it again, and let's start lower, because I think you can get a better stretch, like just from deeper to higher this time.
Okay.
Okay? So start off nice and low. Well done. Did you feel like the lower range or the higher range was more prone to kind of like skipping? Or did you notice that at all?
Maybe the higher?
Yeah?
I don't know.
I would say the lower. That's okay. So in the low range, I kind of heard like you'd skip a few notes, but then the high range, it seemed like you got that vibration and that airflow going, and it seemed really smooth. So let's just focus on the low part real quick. So just from low to kind of middle, it'll sound something like this. So I stopped kind of at the middle, and I want you to focus on not skipping any notes there.
Okay.
Hear how you skipped there?
Yeah, I did.
Yep. Keep the airflow going so that the sound is continuous. Okay? Better. Good. Do it again, nice and slow. Good. Now go all the way up high, but still stay nice and steady and slow, like you're stretching something out. Good. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Oh, that was fantastic. Did you feel that nice slow stretch? Great. Now we're going to go the opposite direction. So we're going to go from high to low, and it'll sound something like this. Try to really take your time so that you can get those pitches like in between and not skip them.
Okay.
Okay. All right. What'd you think?
I thought that was better than from low to high.
You did.
Like by the time I got to the lower, it was more glidey and less like choppy.
Good. Less chop. That's another good word for it. Choppy. Good. Do it again, and this time we're just going to slow it down. Maybe follow my hand. I just want to see a little bit more like control, a little bit more of that slow stretch. Okay? There you go. All the way down. Perfect. That pace, I think, really helps get the stretch and makes sure that like you're getting that good vibration at every pitch along the way. You're doing awesome. I hope it feels good, doesn't feel stressed or strained. It should feel very easy. Good, good. Okay, we're on step 7 of 8. This one I think is really fun. We call this hills or accents. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a sound in the straw like we're revving the engine of a car. And what that's going to do is engage our diaphragm and really kind of give us a boost of air without straining or changing and tightening our throat. So you will hear that my voice gets louder and that the pitch goes up, but I'm not doing that from my larynx. I'm driving that with my air and with my diaphragm. So it'll sound like this. I'm just going to start on a comfortable pitch so I don't have to think too much about it. And if I put one hand here on my abdomen while I do that, I can feel my my muscles engage and my hand kind of moves. So that tells me that I'm using the right system to change that pitch and loudness. So why don't you go ahead and try that? Okay. Do you feel like you're changing
I felt like
the sound
it was
from
more
here?
here.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
air. Yeah.
great job for picking up on that. So what I would suggest is put one hand on your abdomen and then you can like use your finger to hold the straw in place. What happened with that one?
I feel like I was less controlled, but I feel like I was still like using muscles more than just like getting the airflow. And then I splashed myself in the face.
That's okay. So that splash tells me that you did get like you got some airflow and it was just hard to control.
Yeah.
So it takes a little bit. Let's do it again. Let's do maybe like 3 or 4 of those revs. And really, drive it from here. Feel like it's engaging and kind of giving some gas to your voice. Good. Did that one feel better?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What did you feel?
More like in my diaphragm and less like I was trying to like strangle it and control it here.
Great. And you knew what to expect now, so it wasn't like this splash or pop. That's why we have the paper towels. It doesn't matter. We can make a little bit of a mess. Okay, last step. This one is definitely the silliest, so just a heads up. And I'll go first so that you can know what I mean. So what you're going to do is you're going to speak a sentence through the straw. And you might be thinking, how am I going to speak a sentence through the straw? I can't move my mouth, I can't move my tongue. And you'd be right. So it's just kind of like, that from like Peanuts, like the wah 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 wah. It kind of will sound like that, like the teacher voice. But you're still going to be thinking about a sentence that you're saying. You're still going to be using your larynx and your airflow to create that type of sentence. It's just going to sound different because it's through the straw. And what we're trying to do is like help practice the natural pitch and loudness changes that happen across natural speech. So I'm going to say, hey, what's up? And you won't be able to tell that those are the words I'm saying, but it should still kind of sound like that cadence. Could you hear that?
Yeah.
Good. And I could still see bubbles. I didn't feel tightness or tension in my larynx. Yeah. So what sentence could you say in the straw?
Like I really want a cookie.
That sounds great. And if it's true, it's even going to come out even more naturally. So.
I do want a cookie.
Very good. Did you still see bubbles?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Did you feel like you were engaging your diaphragm?
Yeah.
How about any tension at your larynx?
I didn't feel any here.
Very good. Let's do one more sentence. What's something else you could say?
Maybe, hey, how are you?
Sounds great. That one sounded even smoother. Like just really, gradual changes over time and no big like bursts or anything like that. How did it feel for you?
Good. Yeah.
Good. Well, Sarah, this is the exercise program that I have planned out for you. This is what you'll be doing daily. So hopefully now that we've done it together, you feel, ready and prepared to do it at home. For step 8, it can be just anything. You can plan it out in advance, or you can just say whatever you're thinking. If you want a cookie or something like that, whatever comes to mind. It's not really about what you say. It's about saying it in the straw and keeping that vibration nice and forward and keeping the bubbles consistent. But I want you to do this once a day, and then I'll see you next week and we'll see how your voice symptoms are and how you're feeling about the tension in your larynx.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great.